The camping adventure of the Firefighter brothers. Once upon a time, in a small town, there lived two brothers, Tim and Stan. They were firefighters who always helped others. One day, they decided to go camping to relax and spend time outdoors. They packed their backpacks, tent, and set off on their journey. When they arrived at their destination, they saw a beautiful clearing surrounded by trees. There was a pond, and the water was so clear you could see the bottom. The brothers set up their tent and began to prepare the camp. Tim gathered wood for the fire, while Stan laid out the sleeping bags. As night fell, the brothers sat by the fire and started telling each other stories. Suddenly, they heard a rustling in the bushes. Tim and Stan looked at each other, concerned. What could it be? Was it some animal? Or perhaps someone lost? They decided to investigate. Taking their flashlights, they slowly approached the bushes. It turned out to be a small hedgehog searching for food. The brothers breathed a sigh of relief and returned to the fire. The next day, they decided to go for a hike in the forest. Tim wanted to go left and Stan wanted to go right. They began to argue about who was right. Finally, they decided to go together in one direction, but would take turns leading. During the hike, they came across a stream that needed crossing. Tim wanted to jump over it, but Stan noticed they could cross using stones. Again, they started to argue, but this time decided to try both methods. Tim jumped, and Stan crossed on the stones. Both reached the other side without any trouble. At one point, they saw a cave. It was dark and mysterious. The brothers wondered whether to go inside. What might be hiding there? Could it be dangerous? Or perhaps something valuable? They decided to enter the cave together. Inside, it was dark and cool. Tim lit the way with his flashlight while Stan stayed close to his brother. Suddenly, they saw something shimmering on the wall. It was crystals that sparkled in the flashlight's light. The brothers were enchanted. On their way back to the camp, it started to rain. The rain grew stronger, and the path became slippery. Tim slipped and fell. Stan quickly ran to his brother and helped him up. Together, they returned to the camp and took shelter in the tent. That evening, sitting by the fire, the brothers understood the importance of mutual help and support. They realized that together they could overcome any obstacle, and that cooperation is the key to success. That night, after the rain stopped, the sky became clear and full of stars. Tim and Stan decided to go on a night expedition to see the falling stars. They took their flashlights, map, and some snacks, then set off. During their trek through the forest, they came across an old bridge that spanned a deep ravine. The bridge looked somewhat worn, but the brothers decided to try crossing it. Tim went first, with Stan right behind him. The bridge creaked, but they managed to cross safely to the other side. When they reached the clearing, they sat on a blanket and began to watch the sky. Suddenly, they saw the first falling star. Each brother made a wish. Tim wished to always be brave and helpful, while Stan wished for strength and wisdom. When they returned home, they told their parents about their adventures. Their parents were proud of their sons, who had learned the importance of cooperation and mutual help. Tim and Stan promised each other that they would always support and help one another. And so the Firefighter brothers, Tim and Stan, lived happily ever after, always ready for new adventures and challenges, knowing that together they could overcome anything.